Hello, my name is Slobodan Živković, and today we'll be talking about getting to know someone and getting the basic information and giving basic information about ourselves and asking them from other people. So, let's start. Meeting someone means to get to know someone. And how do you usually get to know someone? By sitting next to someone? Well, it's a start. You can get to know someone by being very close to him or even by being very far. Nowadays we can get to know someone even when that person is very far away from us because we use modern means of communication. Still, meeting someone in person has its advantages because we can see someone's face, listen to them, and make a personal contact. Someone once said that there is nothing more inspiring and stimulating than meeting new people and hearing their stories, being inspired by them. It's quite a unique experience. But all unique experiences more or less start the same. So let's see how meeting someone starts. The first step, of course, is hi, hello, good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and so on and so forth. After that, we usually introduce ourselves, or even before that, with something like, I'm Bob, I'll be your host today, and then we usually move on. If we already know the person, we might say something like, I haven't seen you in a while, where have you been? And then, of course, move on to other questions like, how are you? Something about this question, how are you? It's not exactly a question, meaning that when you ask someone how are you, or someone asks you how are you, they don't usually mean that you should give a list of your illnesses and everything you feel good or bad about. It's just a question, a starter, okay? So you usually reply with something like, oh, pretty good, or something like, fine, or anything in that area, okay? Never been better. As usual, not bad. But there's another type of question that I would like you to pay attention to. For example, when you answer, I've been keeping myself busy, and then return the question, how about you? Or, thanks for asking, and you? You also not only answer the question, but also ask another question as well. Return the courtesy. Show that you have the same amount of culture and that you are as good as they. But everything that's good usually has its end, and after the usual pleasantries, we usually finish off with something like, it was nice meeting you, if we don't know that person that well. I hope to see you again, hope to see you soon. I look forward to seeing you again. Say hello to your family if we know the person's family, of course. It was a pleasure meeting you as well, or we can finish off with something as simple as bye or goodbye. That's when you meet the person for the first time, or you maybe you don't have much time. But when you really want to get to know someone, you could ask a totally different set of questions. If you ask someone directly, What kind of a person do you think you are? That person might tell us really different things. But if you ask them indirectly about themselves, to talk about themselves, then they will be more inclined to tell you everything you want to know. What do I mean? Well, let's see. Well, the first question would be, for example, what animal represents you best and why? With this question, you can identify the animal that person likes, or you can even identify if a person likes animals or not. For example, if someone identifies with fox, what could that mean? Well, I think they like to, my opinion of course, they like to see themselves seen as a smart, cunning person, not easily deceived. If they see themselves as a little kitten, maybe they think they're cute or want to present themselves as harmless or something like that. Who knows? If they see themselves as a turtle, maybe they tend to live a long life. Or as this cute, well, it's cute to me anyway, dog. As proud as a lion, of course, as strong as a lion. Or maybe a tiger, not just strong, but they want to say something like, "Don't mess with me," or something like that. And owl, well, wisdom, definitely. But what's interesting is that each of these animals may present different things, different characteristics to other people. And that is why you should include this second part. What animal best represents you and why? Because typically different people will give you different explanations. And from those explanations, I think you will learn much more than a simple question, where are you from? Are there more questions like this? Well, a lot more. For example, you could also ask, if you could travel back in time, where and when would it be? And why? Depending on the answer, you could learn really a lot about the person from this question. For example, you could learn where, if they feel comfortable, for example, in their skin. If they'll answer, well, I wouldn't change a thing. Maybe they're happy with their life. Maybe they would like to change just the place, and maybe place and time as well. For example, I wouldn't mind living in Japan in 17th century, because I'm a great fan of their culture and something called Bushido, the path. Well, someone would maybe like to live on an island, maybe before settlers came, or maybe something else, maybe Wild West, who knows. From that you can see what kind of a person they are. Are they adventurous? Are they happy with their life? And so on and so forth. So let's move on. If you were to go to planet Mars and you could bring along, let's say, 5 personal items, what would they be and why? This is a great question. When I come to think of it, I don't know, maybe all 5 out of right now, but I would definitely bring my Swiss knife. And even more, wherever I go, I usually bring along my Swiss knife. It has helped me a lot and got me through some difficult situations. For example, when a person got hurt a long time ago, I was able to use the scissors and knife from my Swiss knife and cut the trousers so that we could fix the wound. Another thing to consider to bring maybe to Mars. Would you bring a lot of clothes? What if a person would bring a lot of clothes to Mars? How would they explain it? Or if a person brought, for example, their own car to Mars, but it says personal items. Well, car is not usually considered to be a personal item. So personal items like toothbrush or Swiss knife, or maybe something that could create water for you, okay, and it's kind of personal. Or maybe you would bring along something like a treasured memory, a gift from someone you care about, to be able to maintain a connection with someone who's, well, Mars is a far away from Earth, definitely, so to bring along a connection with you, to your family or someone you hold dear. If you could live in a book, TV show, or a movie, which one would you choose? Well, if I were to choose a book, maybe a book about Tarzan. I would like to meet Tarzan, definitely. Okay? Or maybe some book about the exploration of deep space. Or something like that. TV show, well, definitely a comedy. Definitely a comedy, but because you could always use some more laugh. Movie, which movie? Well, there's so many movies, but definitely something nice. I wouldn't like to be stuck in an action movie or something. This could also tell you about what kind of a person they try to present themselves as. For example, if they try to present themselves as adventurous when going to Mars or emotional, you could compare this with the type of movie they would choose, or book, or a TV show, and see if they're really consistent, if they really are adventurous person or they're just posers. Who knows? But this would give you some additional information, definitely. This one is my favorite. If you could choose one superpower, what would it be and how would you use it? This, there's a saying that if you give someone power, then you can truly discover what are they like? Are they any good or bad? Because we all try to be good, more or less, on a daily basis. And what about when you don't have to be good? Will you stay good or not? And the choice of the superpower could tell you a lot. For example, if someone was to tell you that he or she would like to be able to become invisible and rob banks, what would you think of them? Maybe you would think of them as funny. Okay. Maybe you would ask them to get serious. Okay. Maybe they would like to have some of Superman's powers, or something more like, for example, super strength, super sight, super hearing, super will, or maybe something like that. For example, I would choose something else. Well, similar, not else. I would choose to be able to fly super fast. Fly super fast. Because I think, as I don't have much time, I would really appreciate the opportunity to get somewhere really fast. And of course to come back. So I could, for example, this weekend I would like to pop up to Hawaii. The next weekend I would like to see something in South America. The next I would like to visit someone in South Africa. And of course, definitely see the penguins in their natural surroundings. So, flying super fast, that would definitely be my superpower. What would yours be? How would you use it? What for? Think about it. And here are some more variations and different questions. For example, this one looks like a Mars thing, doesn't it? The first one. If you could take only 3 items to a deserted island, what would they be? Well, my answer would still be the Swiss knife, definitely. Okay? Maybe something that could convert salt water to water, drinkable water, and something like that. Okay, I'm practical. Maybe I would bring something to remind me of a person I love, maybe a picture or something like that. Okay, so those 3 things are, well, my choice. What would your choice be? Which 3 items would you choose to bring to a deserted island? Think about it. Next is very difficult. For me, very difficult. I thought I had it, and if you asked me like 20 years ago, I would definitely go by smell. But then something happened. Well, the question is, if you had to choose to live without one of your 5 senses, which one would you give up? Sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch. More than 20 years ago, I think something happened, and I lost the sense of smell for 6 months. I recovered like 70% of that, but not 100%, unfortunately. So, not being able to smell, someone would say, that's nothing compared to losing your sight or hearing. Well, your life changes, and you don't know how much it changes until it happens. For example, it had its perks, I mean, good sides. For example, in public transportation, okay. But then the food changes. It isn't as nothing tastes the same People are different somehow. I'm not sure how. They lose a quality. So think carefully about the choices you would make and try to justify your choice. For example, sight. Difficult to go without. Hearing. Difficult to communicate, definitely. Taste, smell, touch. For example, if you lose touch and you touch something very hot, well, you could kill yourself or damage or injure yourself, definitely. Okay, so think about it. If you were sentenced to death, or if you were sentenced on death row, if you were on a death row, what would your final meal be? Well, would you choose something familiar? Something you like to eat? Would you choose something new? Would you choose your favorite meal? Something you have eaten 1,000 times? Or would you choose something you have never eaten? Maybe you would choose something deadly. Maybe would you choose a cake? Or maybe you would choose a very, very long meal. Who knows? Well, this could definitely tell you about person preferences and how much they enjoy meals, they like to eat. It would definitely tell you if they're adventurous or not. Okay? Definitely. The craziest, most dangerous, spontaneous, or adventurous thing you have ever done. Well, we could add here most stupid definitely. For example, climbing very steep hill, okay, free climbing without rope, and then being stuck halfway up without being able to come down or climb up. Well, it happened to me, and there was a really perfectly great trail that could lead me up to the top of that hill, but I chose the adventurous way. If you ask me now why, I think I wanted to test myself. That's the best reply I would have for doing something spontaneous, adventurous, but above all, stupid thing. Okay. Still about preferences and things that could tell you something about that person. If your house or apartment was on fire and you had time to save only one thing, what would it be and why? For example, older people or more mature people would say maybe documentation regarding their home, maybe something to do with proof of ownership, or maybe something insurance deals or anything like that. Maybe they would save something they hold dear to themselves. They think, for example, it could be a picture, it could be something that a very dear person, mom, dad, or anyone else gave them. For example, it could be something as inexpensive as picture, or it could be a ring or a necklace or anything like that. Maybe a piece of tool even, who knows? Or maybe I don't know. What do you think? Why would you choose that? Interesting question. And another thing, if you could have dinner with one person, just one person, living or dead, who would it be and why? Would you talk to one of your ancestors? Because I know I would definitely like to talk with my grandfather. Ask him a few things about his life, and death, of course. Because my grandmother never knew how he died. He was just taken away. Or maybe you would like to talk to a celebrity, like Brad Pitt. Okay? Go to dinner. Oh, he would be paying, of course. Or maybe you would like to talk, if you're a fan of history and you really like it, maybe some person that's of great interest to you. Well, for example, something or someone from a Roman Empire or Egyptian Empire or any empire, or maybe just maybe you would like to talk to Robin Hood if he existed, or anything like that in that sense. Well, this is all about suggestions. Homework, well, it's not much of a homework, but still, I would really like you to think about these questions and write down, not just answers, maybe notes about each of these things, and think about what would you say, and what kind of a person you really are. You should also try to guess maybe about your friends. Choose 2 friends and think about how well you know them. What do you think? Which animals represents them best? And so on and so forth. Not much of a homework, still, I would really like you to think, write down, and ask yourselves these questions.